It's genuinely been so long since I feel like I've sat down and done like a Q&A. If you didn't see the video right before this, it was me kind of like documenting, why am I so out of breath? I just ran downstairs. But it was me documenting my journey like post miscarriage to obviously finding out I'm pregnant again. So I wanted to do like a Q&A, like a first trimester Q&A, and just kind of answer like all the questions and kind of just talk about the many life changes that have been going on. So I had a bunch of you ask me some questions on Instagram, so if you're not already following me, I'm going to leave my little tag up here. That's kind of where I go to ask like questions and things like this for future videos, because I'm probably going to do a second trimester one and a third trimester one. I am currently in my second trimester right now, but obviously I didn't announce, maybe I should take a back step. I didn't announce till I was like 14, 15 weeks pregnant. I can't exactly remember. And so I'm kind of just catching up on all the first trimester stuff, and then we'll move on to second trimester. I wish I had recorded videos my first trimester, but I'll answer another question kind of why that didn't happen. But so a lot of people are wanting to know how far along I am. When is baby due? Baby's due at the end of February. I'm not announcing the exact date for a number of reasons. One, my due date changed from the date that I think it is. It's gone earlier in the month of February, but I'm still pretty confident that I will give birth towards the end of February. So I don't like want the pressure, because I know I'm going to go overdue. I don't really want the pressure of like, I don't know, I don't want the pressure of people knowing the exact date, people know I'm overdue. I'm also hoping to like post kind of like a week lagged, so that when I do give birth I can kind of take like a week off and not feel the pressure of having to like post that I've given birth and give all these updates. Kind of just enjoy the first week with like pre-recorded content of like that last week of pregnancy. Yeah, because these are the things that run through my brain. So I'm currently about 16, 17, 18 weeks, 16, 17-ish weeks. So I'm well into my second trimester. I don't know, second trimester 14 weeks? I don't even know, but I'm well into my second trimester at this point. Oh, I love this question. Somebody asked, how soon did you tell your parents you were pregnant? So I found out I was pregnant a few days before Father's Day, so it was like a Wednesday. I kept it to myself until the Sunday, so like 4 full days, and then I think I told my parents that next week. That's for a number of reasons. A, I knew I was going to be really sick, so I need the support of my mum. My mum and my dad are always the first people we tell. We kind of always tell them earlier than we tell literally everybody else, just again because I need that support from my mum. Now that I live here, I didn't live here in Northern Ireland or close to my mum the first trimester of the other kids, so I didn't tell her quite as early. Probably told her around like 7-8 weeks. But this time I think I was what, like 4, maybe not even 5 weeks. And also the reason I had to tell her was because we go to Pilates together every single Wednesday night, and I didn't want to go to Pilates in my first trimester just with the miscarriage and all that. I just really wanted to just keep everything like toned down, so I knew she would wonder why I wasn't going to Pilates, and there was like no way I could get out of that. So I was like, you know what, we'll just tell her I'm pregnant, which meant I also had to tell my sister, because she also goes to Pilates, like a week or 2 later, because I just couldn't keep it a secret. But pretty much everybody else we didn't really tell until after our 12-week scan. I did tell my other sister at probably around 7 or 8 weeks. I told my 2 friends probably like 9 or 10 weeks, and then literally everybody else like in our personal life would have been around that 12-week mark. And then we posted on social media, was it like 14, 15 weeks. I know a lot of people love to share like really early that they're pregnant. I don't know, I kind of like to just keep it a secret. I've always been like that, even before the miscarriage. Yeah, I'm like happy just kind of keeping it in myself. I also think pregnancy really drags. So I feel like if I told everybody at 5 weeks, it would just really drag. Where now I feel like I'm at like 16, 17 weeks and I've only just told people, and like I'm already nearly halfway. It just feels like it goes by far quicker. I got asked 2 miscarriages in the last year and currently 5 weeks. How do you deal with the worry? This is a really hard one. I think every pregnant person worries. Like I try to think back to my first 2 pregnancies, and I definitely remember being stressed out and crying if like I had any twins or something. I was like, you kind of always go to that worst case scenario, but I feel like even more so after a miscarriage. Honestly, I booked a early private scan, and that really helped me. I think having like scans like every so many weeks just gives you that reassurance, obviously, so you can see your baby. But even when I was like super sick, in the thick of sickness, I still was panicked that like something was going on. So I honestly, how do you deal with the worry? Wouldn't say I just internalize it, which is not great. And I just try to get to those next appointments where I can just like get that bit of reassurance, but I think it's inevitable. You're going to worry and it's so hard. I think for me this time, this pregnancy from the beginning felt so much different from the miscarriage, even though I was only pregnant for a week with the miscarriage. But this pregnancy to me has felt so similar to my other two pregnancies, like my healthy pregnancies with my kids, that has always given me a wee bit of extra reassurance. I don't know, hopefully that is helpful, but it is so hard. And I honestly set my heart out to you because with 2 miscarriages, I think that would be even more difficult. But I think if you get that early scan, she said you're 5 weeks, and you make it to the 12-week appointment and you get that scan, I think then you start to get that wee bit more reassurance, and hopefully you're feeling some symptoms, because that does help the reassurance, even though the symptoms really do suck. Oh, did you do anything different to get pregnant? A lot of people have been asking me this, and I don't really want to come on and be like, do this and you'll definitely get pregnant, because I don't think that's the case. I did do a couple of things different the month I got pregnant, or maybe the month before. I was originally taking ovulation tests, a little like cheapy pre-mum ones, and I went ahead and got the clear blue ones that were more expensive. Now, do you need these? No, because realistically, if you're just having sex every single day, every other day for the entire cycle, you don't really need the ovulation test, because I didn't really rely on the ovulation tests. I kind of just did that. I was taking some supplements. I think they were called, they were like prenatals, but they were like to help conceiving. I want to say they were called 7Cs. If I remember, I'll leave the link down below, like where I got them on Amazon. I'll just leave the link to the ones I got specifically. Trenters did take like, this is TMI with the internet, like tablets to like help his sperm. I don't know. But I think he'd have been taking that for a few months, or maybe 2 months. So like, but that was pretty much all we did, besides being more regular. You can pick up and put down. Like, I feel like a lot of times, a lot of other months, I would have really relied on the ovulation test, and as soon as they said I'd ovulated a day after, I'd be like, right, I'm done, I've got it. Whereas like the ovulation tests are not obviously accurate, and so this time I just like made sure, even like after it said I ovulated, I was still like keeping going up until like my predicted due date, my predicted period date. But honestly, it also is just one of those things, it's pure luck. I don't know if those things made a difference. Maybe they did, maybe they didn't. It's kind of hard to tell, but I know when you're in the pits of it, you're like, you're willing to try anything, because I definitely was. I did go get tested for, I had a low thyroid. I did an ad with fertility, basically. It was like a blood test. I got my results back and everything looked good, which is great, but they did say my thyroid levels were low, which could have led to me having a hard time getting pregnant. So I did get that tested. So I definitely would recommend, if you're somebody who's like gone through this for quite a few months, like just going and get like a blood test done, and like just getting those kind of hormones like checked. Obviously it cannot answer everything, but it definitely can give you a bit of guidance as to like, okay, everything is looking perfect, or like me, like maybe your thyroid level is just slightly low and there's just something just slightly off, because I would never have known that otherwise. A lot of people are being like, tell me the nausea stops, or I'm pregnant, baby number 2, I'm 9 weeks and feel about 30 plus weeks. Do you feel the same? The first trimester is just rough. It's so rough. I prepare myself every single time because I just know how rough it's going to be. I'm not gonna lie, I'm at what, 16, 17 weeks, and my nausea has not stopped. I am on medication because I have, what is it called, like HG, hyper, I don't know how the word, and that has definitely helped a lot. I'm definitely at the stage now where like I can go about my daily life as normal. I just feel like when the kids go to bed at night, I'm just like, oh, I just feel like dead to the world. But I definitely like, I'm living more of my normal life compared to what I was in the first trimester. Like, I feel like in my first trimester, I could, if I went to Tesco's, that was me done for the day. So I definitely feel like I'm living my more normal life. It definitely does go away, but for everybody it's so different. Some people's it's 12 weeks. I always just try to get to like 14 weeks now. I feel like I'm gonna be fine. But like I said, I'm at 16, 17, and I think if I wasn't taking medicine, I'd not be doing great. My camera says it's overheating, but A lot of people said, how was this pregnancy compared to your previous two pregnancies symptom-wise, and honestly nearly exactly the same. I've had a boy and a girl, and both of those pregnancies were virtually, especially the first trimester, were virtually the exact same. I did feel like this one I managed better for the first little bit, and I think that might have just been because I got on medication that actually worked for me. But then I did go to A&E twice, and I didn't go at all with my son, and I guess I went twice with my daughter. So in that sense, I did manage it that much better. But I would say of the 3 first trimesters, besides that like few weeks where I went to A&E, it has been my easiest, but I do think that's because I've been on medication. But what I will say is it has not been easy. When I say the easiest, I mean the easiest of like my journey, which in terms of other symptoms, exhaustion. I do not remember being this exhausted with the other two. Like, I remember being exhausted, I definitely do. With my son, I worked full time in an office, and I remember at my hour lunch break, like going out to the car and going to sleep, like I was that exhausted. But this time around, I just feel like I could nap all day, every day. I am so tired at night time. Like the kids come in the middle of the night and I don't hear them because I'm that exhausted, and I'm not normally like a heavy sleeper like that. I know a lot of people are saying it's because you've got 2 kids, so like you're going to be more exhausted. But when I got pregnant last time, I had an 18-month-old, which I feel like is so much more intense than the kids at this age, which is like 2.5 and 4.5. So maybe that is why I'm more exhausted. But I just feel like my life was more exhausting last time around, because my last first trimester, I had an 18-month-old. We were preparing for an international move, which means we were like selling all of our furniture, moving apartments. Like I feel like that was more of an exhausting time. But my pregnancies are very similar, very, 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 very similar every time. Kind of going along with that, top tips for keeping up with toddlers during first trimester. Honestly, I'm grateful because my husband's been able to help a ton. My mum can help a ton. And it was the summer, so it meant that my oldest could help with my toddler a ton. He could do a lot of the entertaining. It is so hard though. I think it's just one of those times where like I didn't take my kids out to do fun things as much. They did watch a lot more TV than normal because it was just pure survival. They were probably eating a lot more snacks and crap. I think top tips is just doing whatever you can do to survive. So if that is giving them an iPad, or that is putting the TV on, I just did what I had to do to get through it. Oh, someone's asking, I should have answered this with the last question. Do you have any differences in pregnancy symptoms you've noticed for boy and girl? And no, not really. Not that I can remember. The only difference was I did get a lot more sick towards the end of my pregnancy with my daughter. Like I was hospitalised at about 36 weeks with her. But other than that, it was virtually the same. Maybe the odd wee small thing, but it's one of those things you don't really remember, but as a whole, virtually the exact same. So that does not indicate to me anything this time around. One of the other main questions I keep getting asked on TikTok, I keep getting asked on Instagram, and I keep getting asked here is, are we finding out the gender? Which I haven't officially said this, but we actually are going to be finding out the gender, which is very, very exciting. Fun story. We did not find out the gender with my daughter, but we did find out with my son accidentally, which is a story for another day. We were not meant to find out. I was absolutely devastated when I found out because I didn't remember to shut off because it was overheating. But like I was saying, I was absolutely devastated when we found out the gender of my son. Not that I was devastated that it was a boy, but just because I did not want to know and I wanted it to be a surprise so much, especially the first time around. I think it had been so fun, and I think it would have been such a good experience because I had such a nice birth with him. But what we did do is we found out, I told my parents because I was actually devastated. Like after my call, my poor mum was so worried because she knew I'd had an ultrasound and I came out crying calling her, and literally all it was is that I found out the gender. But we told my parents, and then we told everybody else that we didn't know the gender, so we just pretended the entire pregnancy that we hadn't a clue, which was actually really nice. Now looking back, like I actually really enjoyed that. Obviously with my daughter, we didn't find out the gender, sorry, waited till birth, and that experience was just, it wasn't as fun as I wanted it to be. I think my birth was very quick. It wasn't traumatic in the sense that nothing went wrong, but it was very traumatic mentally on me. It just didn't go how I wanted it to. I mentally didn't do very well towards the end of her birth and during her labour. Just everything happened really fast. And so when I found out she was a girl, I just didn't get to enjoy it. It makes me really sad. I didn't get to like enjoy finding out I was getting a daughter, which I don't know why I'm getting emotional, I'm just obviously pregnant. I always wanted a girl. I've always wanted boys too, but I just always wanted to make sure I had one girl. Like that's always been my thing. I always felt like I was going to have more boys than girls, but I needed that one girl, and I feel like when they gave me to her and said it was a girl, I didn't get to like soak in that moment because I like mentally just was not there. So I feel like because of that, I don't want to do that again this time. I just kind of want to find out, and then I feel like it's fun too, because now I could be like, I found out all the different ways. I've not found out, I found out and told nobody, and now I'm finding out and will obviously announce. And also because I already have a boy and a girl, I genuinely don't really care if this one is a boy or a girl. I had a slight preference pre-birth, and I mean not pre-birth, pre-pregnancy, but now I genuinely could not care less. I have a boy, I have a girl. It doesn't matter to me if another boy, it doesn't matter to me if I have another girl. I'll be happy either way. I don't really have too many inclinations yet what it is, but we are going to be finding out next week. So I'm trying to get my TikTok content caught up to real time. We're going to be finding out next week, and then, well, we're going to go for a scan next week, and then we're going to probably wait another 4 or 5 days to get like everything prepped to do a gender reveal. We're not doing a party because it's just not me and Francine at all, but me and him will just do something together. Then we'll do something with the kids, and then we'll maybe go down and like tell my nieces and nephews and stuff, because they're quite excited as well. But yeah, I'm quite excited to do things a little bit different this time. I'm excited because it's like my last baby, that yeah, I can like go out and buy some fun clothes, things that I didn't really do. Even with my son, I never really did it. I didn't really do with my daughter, or didn't even do with my son, even though I knew. But I am really excited to like bring you along on this journey. I feel like I have posted a lot of like real raw content on YouTube that I don't post on any of my other platforms. Like I spoke pretty heavily here about my miscarriage. I obviously documented there my turn to conceive journey, like miscarriage to pregnancy, and now it feels like fun, it feels like full circle, that now I can obviously share my pregnancy journey. I'm going to try just put normal content obviously in between, but it is just such a heavy part of my life at the minute. So if there's type of videos that you want to see, if there's videos of mine that I used to do, like I can start doing those again. If there's pregnancy specific videos that you want to see, obviously we're coming up to like Christmas and stuff. Obviously it's only September, but still we're coming to Christmas and all that jazz. And yeah, thank you all so much for like the love and support on the last few videos. I really appreciate it, and I will see you next time. Bye.